Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. We are taking one more little look at Flash's Terran vs. Terran as he has gotten to the top of the ladder. Here it is against Shinee, which the previous day's cast also had a Shinee game. Shinee, one of the top ladder Terrans always for the last, since Remaster came out at least. He's been way up there at the top of the world. And in that previous game, went very in-depth at the end, but kind of showed the difference between top pros and the way that they might approach a TVT and how the TVTs are actually played on the ladder. I'm hoping that we learn more from here. These two games were played like a day apart or 2 days apart, but I'm sure that that loss, fresh in Flash's mind, we'll see how he reacts to the way Shinee wants to play. But, you know, we're on Radeon. Hard to say exactly what these guys will open with as of yet. You know, Shinee has a lot of Terran vs. Terran openers, knows all the modern stuff. He also has his own little style. He does a lot of, like, one-base pressure builds that are pretty strong. And it looks like it's probably just a 4-11 racks from him once again. I wonder if he'll put it as 6. I think that's a really good location for a 4-11 racks, personally. Oh, he's going way forward, man. Holy crap. So this is actually going to be comedy. They're both going for 4-11 racks right now. Dude. He just... You can't have come closer. He just barely missed it. Cross spawn. And Flash going to go for command center first. He literally scouted through the center. This is something I've seen some high-ranked Terrans doing lately, where they'll actually scout early through the center, because the only build that actually beats command center first is center barracks. Like, on paper, statistically, that is the only build. And I did the stats. I actually went through seawall.gg. I've told this 100 times, so forgive me if you've heard it, but like, I literally went through 150 of the top Terran player ladder games and categorized every single game, the openers, the win rates, everything. And Command Center First is by far the strongest build, and it only dies to center barracks. It wins against everything else. Now, this is center 11 racks, so it generally doesn't end the game, but it does generally give an advantage to the or not an advantage, but it might make the game even, okay? Like, in the games that I've watched, the games that I've played, the games I've experienced, you have to pull SCVs, but the game generally ends pretty evenly if this player goes for command center here, right? Like, if he goes quick command center. Because this one will finish way sooner, but a lot of SCVs come off the mineral line, and it slows your factory a little bit because you have to build a bunker, see the bunkers getting started. And you can see Shinee pulling back with the Marines. He's not going to make that many, but we'll see if he's able to actually get even here. Command center is finished. Flash is going to get his factory down. You can notice he's actually skipping SCVs. You can see how this screws up the build, right? Look at that. He has to skip 2 SCVs to get that factory down on time because he had to buy the bunker. How much does a bunker cost? 100 minerals. It's 2 SCVs. Also, obviously, he had to pull some SCVs down to fight a little bit. In the meantime, Shinee going add-on very quickly. He's actually going to go Vulture. I think that Vulture makes a lot of sense because Flash is not likely to lose this SCV. So even if you want to go Siege Tank here, you should go Vulture first, because that's the only way to kill the SCV. If you wait for a tank, first off, he knows a tank is on the way. And, yeah, like, there's no surprise at that point. Now, excuse me, Shinee is getting speed, or he started speed, then he canceled. Now, that might have been a red herring for Flash. And what he would have thought there probably is Mines, by the way. Mines is a very common opener against Command Center First. Now, this is double starport from Shinee. So again, we're seeing some very I'm a ladder player builds here from Shinee, where it's like, okay, well, against, for instance, if Flash is going Wraith, the 2 starport Wraith will be better than it. If Flash is going for Tank Goliath, that's not common at all. He'll be ahead there. If he's going Vulture, normally you'll go Vulture with an armory, and we actually see that. Then I would say it comes down to like some control and some decision making, but I have faith that Shinee actually can probably get a slight edge with this build. Okay. So he's going to see the armory with the floating barracks, some good scouting. Don't forget, because the barracks was in the center, it's here way earlier, and he's getting a lot more info. And it actually is going to be Tank Goliath. Wow. Okay, so I think, because you never see these two builds hit. You never see these hit, so we have to kind of fall back on, like, what is this likely to look like? If Flash goes Academy, there it is. Holy crap. He should be ahead from this. He should be ahead. By the way, notice that the SCV counts are very, very similar right now. Shinee has been very much on top of making sure he's not missing any SCVs. And yeah, I guess Flash jumps up 2, so he's up like 2 halves of an SCV, right? So it's not even exactly 1 SCV, but he's got like 6-7 seconds extra mining time with 2 SCVs, whatever. It's super, super close. And that has to do, again, with the center barracks play. It's so funny, right? If that SCV had found the center barracks, oh man, completely different world. Excuse me. Okay, forward bunker coming up. Now this bunker, you might look at this and say, what is this doing? This is anti-siege tank. This is so that if Flash moves down, because he saw the double add-on and everything, you're not going to go double add-on for anything other than making siege tanks. If he were to attack move with those siege tanks, because Shinee's going to be so light on ground units, he has to deal with this bunker. You can't just right-click the tanks by. They're too slow. They'll take too much damage. And that'll give him time to work with his Wraiths. So this is a very smart forward bunker. I actually would not have thought of that myself. I don't ever do this build, but yeah, I really like that idea. This makes so much sense. What a great usage of those Marines right now. Kind of zones everything out and gives you some breathing room. Now, Flash walking out with his Goliath tank. And he's actually going... Ooh, a Vulture follow-up. Now, don't forget, he actually has Siege. So this is like a catch-all. He's like, I'm going to be alive against everything. And then we go for some Vultures, right? But he's actually making 4 more Goliaths here. Mines are done. Probably will start that Goliath range. There it is. Couple Goliaths coming up. Shinee getting that SCV advantage, and a big one at that. 4 SCVs were lost via making the comsats, and now he's going to kill a bunch more as well. So he's up 10 SCVs right now. Wow. Bunch of mines laid out front. Yeah, the scan goes down. He simply flies away. Engineering Bay coming up. This is a very tough position for Flash right now. Very tough position. Shinee going to continue to add some damage down. He's very, very good at this. The 5 Wraiths actually killing a siege tank without losing any. That's kind of huge. Flash right now mines in front of Shinee's base. Shinee going up probably to 5 factory. We see 4 here. It's more common to go to 5 after something like this, but maybe he wants to go 4 and get the quicker command center. Or maybe he wants to continue to build Wraiths some too. That's it's actually hard to say. Sometimes it can actually be good to keep making Wraiths at weird spots. What we definitely will see happen is if Flash has an engagement and loses a bunch of Goliaths, we'll probably see Wraith production begin again. That can be really, really good because you only want to make the Goliaths one time. You don't want to continually make Goliaths until the late game. And he's making a lot, so that shows us that Flash is going to be pretty aggressive here. I think he's decided that the Vultures are not going to do very much either. So he actually moves into a position at this 3rd base. There's 5th and 6th factories. Holy crap, 6 factory here from Shinee. Now, Flash is actually going to attack in from the side. Now, notice he's actually targeting down Goliaths. You see that? Shinee has targeted these Goliaths as hard as he can. There was a lot of them, though. And he's actually... Shinee has managed to kill every single Goliath. That's a pretty common tactic when you have a good amount of Wraiths, is if the Goliaths are coming up to help tank damage, you target those down. Now look at how much value he's getting with these Wraiths. Dude. Shinee is really putting out a very strong game here, without doubt. Now, he's gone up to 7 factories here on 2 base. So, Shinee is... This looks all in to me. Like, I think he's killed enough units, and Flash is being so aggressive about getting containment up, and by the way, taking a 3rd base during this, that I think that Shinee is looking at this and saying, okay, I have to take map control. And 7 factory is going to be one way to do that. Like 7 factory production, he just kind of stops on his SCVs for a minute, just makes nothing but units. He should be able to bust out of anything Flash is doing. If Flash recognizes... Yeah, okay, so... Where was that scan? I don't know. I think he was just clearing mines, maybe. But if Flash recognizes what's going on, these units have to go home. Like, you actually want to get into a very defensive stance, probably around there. Shinee gonna walk around this little contain. Flash does have an additional tank up. This is a kind of a common way to play, where you have most of your army roaming and a few tanks to kind of see what's coming and start dealing that damage. And if they try to bust something like this, you suddenly siege, and then the units that are trying to bust have a hard time. So Shinee sieges up here on the side. Flash, look at these zoning tanks. Look at this. You can't get out of this area without him knowing and getting some damage. The rest of his army going to roam in between all these units. This sets up another one. This is very defensive. Sets up another one. Shinee making a lot of units. Shinee is probably going to want to scan, kind of see where everything's at, and then bring everything and hit one location is my guess. So Rally's a little bit off right there. He is making a few more wraiths as well. Oh, I like that. The barracks lands and stops the mining for a little bit. He doesn't need the barracks. He has Academy and he has 7 factory. Literally until he has 4 command centers, he does not need another factory. Oh, what was that? Oh, okay. He's killing a few units here. Looks like we had a little supply block from Flash. Actually, much more supply out there from Shinee. I think he just killed a couple vultures there to make sure his tanks could start. Because the tanks are really what's important. Now, Shinee is bringing his whole army up the side. He is going to make a very strong move somewhere. Cloaked Wraiths coming out. Oh, there is a missile turret here. Got to be careful about that. Picking off any of these tanks would be huge. Okay, picks off 1. Picks off 2. The Vulture tank should be able to just plow through this position. Flash backs up and sieges again. The thing is, there are so many Vultures and tanks here as well. The Wraiths really need to get into this battle also. All damage. Really, really doing a great job here for Shinee. Flash does have some more tanks rolling out. How many add-ons does he have? He has 3 add-ons. So he actually still can hold this, I think. Look at this. Setting up another siege line. It's just so cost inefficient to attack into these siege lines. It makes it very tough. By the way, Flash with +1, Shinee not starting +1, obviously, because he went 7 factory and 2 starport. So he's like pretty all in. Shinee just now getting his armory going. Yeah, Flash with the 3 gas. Yeah, I think since that push didn't work, I think that Flash is in a hard spot. The Wraith tank is still, in many ways, a more efficient unit set if you use it correctly. You can see he's kind of like utilizing the vision from these Wraiths. The combination of Goliaths with range and siege tanks versus the combination of Wraiths with siege tanks, if perfectly controlled, this wins. In a hectic game without perfect control, this wins. Okay? So it really comes down to your execution with the Wraiths. The vision advantage goes to the Wraiths. So see, you put some damage on the floating building. Notice how he scanned? Because he knows the tanks could move up now. Because right now, Shinee has more vision. A lot of scans going down. Shinee fielding a large army once again. Shinee's up 15 supply, but down 15 workers. So he's actually up 30 army supply right now. A lot of it's these vultures, though. So the vultures are going to have to do some heavy lifting. Look at this line of siege tanks from Flash. This is the craziest siege line ever. I feel like Shinee has to make dropships if he wants to win this game. Well, he's going to try to bust out. You know what? He is going to bust this bottom part. He actually busts that really, really cleanly. Really, really cleanly. Some vultures from Flash come in and actually hurt the economy of Shinee a lot. And now he's going to bust vertically, which is very smart and very good in this spot. Like, anytime your tanks are like this, if you can bust vertically, it's like the tanks in the back are not going to be hitting your tanks. Now, a lot of these tanks going to be cleared. The Goliath's coming up, punishing the Wraiths as hard as they can. The thing is, Shinee has lost a lot of workers. His worker count is very, very poor right now. 40 workers is an extremely low number. Flash's economy hasn't taken a bruising since the Wraiths. He's really recovered. 63 workers you can basically play a full game with. I mean, TVT, generally you go a bit higher. Generally you go into the 70s. But Like, this is totally fine. He's getting his 4th command center up here. Shinee having a hard time keeping his mining going there. He does push a lot of siege tanks across the map. Oh, God. Oh, no, there are some vultures here, luckily. And even a siege tank. So, yeah, he'll be able to clear Flash's vultures that time. A good idea from Flash, but Shinee on top of it this time. Looks like he eats a mine. Sorry, I'm so zoomed out. I love watching TVT zoomed out. Flash, by the way, going to have +2 attack done around the same time as Shinee has +1 done. So that's a pretty big deal, especially if you have a little bit more of the map. We can see, I wouldn't call this a containment. Well, it might turn into one because Flash is pushing this part. And yeah, he is going to be able to bust these tanks to the side. Tough moments here from Shinee, but he is rotating some vultures around, so might be able to get some damage. We'll see what those vultures actually end up doing. Flash kind of controlling the center, right? The funny thing about Terran vs. Terran is position matters more than base count a lot of the time. Really, you after 4 base, like, you both can kind of afford everything. Obviously, more bases equals better, but, like, map control is very important, too. Now, we have a little bit of a vulture raid coming in from Shinee. He kills some SCVs. He causes some lost mining, but Flash is going to deal with that pretty well. At 60+ SCVs, still, he's fine economically. But what I wanted to mention was, you can see this. This doesn't look like it's controlling a super important area. But literally, even if you have, right, so half map would be tank sieged here for Shinee, right? And tank sieged here. Like, look at the AMD sign in the middle. Like, imagine tanks being sieged, like, there and there. That would be half map, half map. Even having this much more puts pressure on your opponent. Even this much more. It sounds crazy, but it is actually true. And you can see some of these doodads and stuff. It's like, oh, this is a more cramped position for Shinee. He really has to be careful. If Flash suddenly moves all his army somewhere, you might have to walk a longer distance, whereas Flash has all this area. You can just walk back and forth. It's a much easier rally to get units from here to here than for Shinee to get units from here to here, right? Big siege up on the side. Shinee trying to control this bottom left area so he can get some expansions up. Flash getting his top left mining, and now he's on 4 base. So 4 base is kind of where, as Terran, you have 4 bases mining, a good SCV count, you can get everything and expand everywhere. Flash starting to push in, hasn't used that D-Matrix yet. Uses one? Okay, yeah, actually, that was a good one. That ate like 3 shots. Looked like a weird one because it was kind of further back. And he is actually dismantling the siege line of Shinee. Shinee's still getting some harassment. Getting vultures kind of all over the place. Flash continuing to move giant amounts of siege tanks around the map. Throwing down some scans here, trying to clear. Flash has 2-1 against just the +1 of Shinee, so, you know, he does get those 2 shots on the siege tanks. Ooh, that's a big mine right there. But Flash is really moving in right now. So now Shinee needs a ton of defense here. But also he has to be careful because these units can move into here very quickly. These units cannot move into here very quickly. Flash is really controlling this game right now. Now Shinee comes up to the side with these Wraiths. Okay, gonna get some decent hits, pick off some units. I like that he's added some Wraiths. That might give him a little bit of potential to start coming back a bit more. This is a very good setup of siege tanks, but Flash has so much he actually decides to fight. I'm a little bit surprised. It seems like Shinee should be able to actually kill this whole army. Yeah, look at that. Really, really efficient for Shinee. Flash maybe getting a little bit ahead of himself. Like, definitely had an advantage, but wasted a ton of units right there. A ton. Now, Shinee has this 4th base location. He's still light on SCVs. 52 SCVs for 4 base is pretty low. Although he has mined out his main, and his natural. Holy crap, yeah. So I guess there's that. Flash continuing to rally down. I actually would like to see a few units here. I feel like this is an area where, like, what if Shinee took this area? What if he took, like, a Joker smile here? Maybe that would be okay. But still, this central position allows Flash's movement and reactions to be much stronger. +2 gets started for Shinee very, very late. Ooh, some good mines. Still gaining value. Command center right next to the spider mine, so Flash is aware. And in fact, he's going to rotate down some vultures and force a cancel. Yeah, Shinee saw that coming. He's like, ah, damn it. I was hoping I could get that up. Flash going to be able to defend. Oh, probably defend this one vulture. I'm not sure how much time you want to spend actually microing one vulture in a main base. Probably not worth your actions. Not at this stage of the game. Now, Shinee moving a pretty big army in and through here. He's trying to set himself up to take the whole bottom left. Because here, at the end of the day, even if your opponent has this entire area, right? Well, that's a big even if, but like, and you can see Flash does own this entire area. So he can attack here, here, and here. You still technically, as Shinee with this part of the map, have the same amount of bases. Technically, you have the same amount of bases. It's just so much harder to defend. Incredibly harder. So Flash has a big, big advantage right now. He is up like 20 workers as well, which that's reflected in supply. So supply-wise, their armies are about the same size. Flash has better upgrades. Actually, better tech here from Shinee thus far. He has the Wraiths. He's actually adding in dropships now. So that's a big nod to him being behind. And that might actually be something Flash wants to do. And in fact, we do see him starting some dropships. But he only has one starport right now. But when you get ahead like Flash is, if you can hold positions like this, which kind of force your opponent to be more sieged, a lot of times then you just go for extra anti-air and dropships to counter their drops. And the thing is, you can kind of like lean on them as you like because you have such good position. Shinee's done a good job. Like, I would call this like Terran versus Terran triage, this siege line that you see, right? He barely can get his units out and rotate them around, right? He's safe up to about here. That's where the furthest tank of Flash can hit. Right? So he has a little area where his tanks can move. And you can actually see the movement back and forth. And he's trying to make things happen. Like, he's trying to gain value, basically. It's like anywhere you can, you know, if these Wraiths can pick off some siege tanks over time, that's very worthwhile. And you can see this movement back and forth. And he's going to load up some dropships. And he's trying to get a 5th base. Flash right now, though, because he has so much map control, just setting up everything. Look at this. He even has a group of units here for anti-drop, maybe? Maybe there were some vultures that ran and I missed, and people are going to point in the YouTube comments. LOL, Artosis said, in 22 minutes, you missed 3 vultures killing 4 SCVs. But I saw it. Thanks, guys. I know I miss things occasionally. In this case, if that did happen, it really doesn't matter. Okay, so you see, once again, the rotation, right? Flash instantaneously can come down here. And, you know, there's no base being made now, but something that Shinee has to consider. Flash rotates a few vultures down, slows that. Very annoying. Shinee just going to set up a couple siege tanks. Here are the drops, okay? This is what we're looking at. These Wraiths clearing an area. Look at this. Flash is really on top of this because this is actually a way you can lose the game. 8 dropships full of units can win. Can straight win if you're not careful. So Flash gets into a better position. He's actually going to want to mass missile turrets. Oh, look at this. He's coming in with his Wraiths to pick off the dropships. That's a really good play. Very efficient, but also makes the counterplay to these dropships much, much weaker. Much, much worse. So the Wraiths coming back with the dropships. Now, this combo, okay, here's the thing about this. Dropship Wraith, when you fly around with it, it looks so good, but so much of your supply is right here that it makes the rest of your lines weaker. So if someone doesn't have dropship and Wraith and you have dropship and Wraith, they can literally take their army and just shove it down your throat and you can't do too much against that. Oh God, flies right over all these Goliaths. Well, I guess the Wraiths kind of did their job there. And he does get the unload. He's going to lose like almost all of his dropships and a lot of his Wraiths. So 2 dropships get out of the 8. He has this siege position, but how powerful is this siege position? If Flash just has some tanks and missile turrets, some tanks and missile turrets, this position's pretty garbage. Yes, it's denying 1 base. This is a lot of supply. Okay, he's going to just GG. I tell you, this was actually a great game. It was quite back and forth. I felt like Shinee did a little bit better in the early game. Flash did get a little unlucky not scouting that barracks. But yeah, turned into a really interesting one. Really liked the positional dynamics. I liked what Shinee was trying to do to come back. Flash's understanding of the passive pressure of just having this area of the map, being able to freely move back and forth and choose if you want to push any locations, really, really, really strong. But definitely as far as openers go, I think Shinee out-opened him. Even though it was a command center first, right? The Wraith play did well for him. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this TVT. I know that mirror matchups don't get quite as much love, but TVT truly is beautiful. Let me know in the comments if you actually watched this whole thing. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.